you ever opened a card from someone and thought, wait, hold it, how did they do that? Today's card is one of those cards. It is super cool. It's a fun fold, it twists, it pops, and it is really going to wow anyone who opens it up. Hi, I'm Julia with Julia Sue's Stamping, and I'm really glad that you're here. This card is going to look really complicated when you just take a look at it, but I'm telling you, once you know how the mechanism inside of it works, you're going to be making so many of these and having fun with them that you're going to wonder what in the world you did before. I have a step-by-step tutorial that you can download listed on my blog, and the blog post is down in the description, so please be sure you check it out. I'd love for you to download it, and then you could go ahead and cut all the papers that you want, follow along with me, and we can create something fun together. Of course, I have several variations of this card to show you at the end because if you know me, I couldn't stop at just one. I had to keep on making them because it was so much fun and these cards are really cool. I think we should go ahead and get started, don't you? Let's go. The stamp sets I'll be using today are the Gallery Blooms Wonderful Thoughts, the designer series paper. It's 6x6, so after a while, when I've used a lot of it, I put it into a big Ziploc bag, and it is the beautiful Gallery designer series paper. I have pre-cut all my pieces, so I'm going to walk you through each part so you can see how easy it is. The first piece I've got is a piece that is 8 inches by 3 inches. Now remember, all the details will be listed up on my blog, so please check it out. I've got a free PDF for you to download there, so it's all there right for you. Now, I took this 3-inch by 8-inch piece and I have already scored it in the middle at 1.5. So just to show you where that is and so that it's easier, we're going to go ahead and kind of deconstruct it by folding it over several times so it's good to go. All right. And then I'm going to take the paper trimmer, and this is how I do it. And you may want to use a pen and to mark it and to do it differently. That is 100% up to you. But I am going to begin by scoring it. I'm going to mark it 2.5 inches. I'm going to mark it with my scoring blade, just a little knob in there, and now I'm going to take the scoring blade up to the top and I'm going to do the same thing. All right, and now I'm going to open it up and I'm going to take it to 5.5 inches and do the exact same thing. So I just make a little kind of a notch, and now I'm going to lift it up and do the same thing at the top. So this is how I like to mark it. Maybe you want to use a pen and to mark it, but I can see my little bit of a score notch here at the 5.5 and at the 2.5. So then I'm going to put that 2.5 mark on the cutting line, the scoring line, and I'm going to take the 5.5 down, and also, let me see if I can make it so you can see this on there as well. So I've got the 2.5 inch right here on the mark, and then I've got the 5.5 down here, and I'm going to score those two kind of together. Now I'm going to open up the paper guide here, the guard, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I've got the 5.5 inch here, and I can see the 2.5 inch right here. So I put that on, and then I'm going to put the 5.5 inch mark on, shut the guide, and score it. Now what I've done is I've created an X of scoring, and it meets right in the middle. So I've got a little X there, and this has been well broken down so it will be easy for me to fold. We'll go ahead and do our next piece as well. So this piece has been cut to be 9 inches by 3 inches, and this one is going to be our image panel that we're going to decorate in a very nice way. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to go ahead and score this at 2.25 inches. The next thing I'm going to score is 4.5 inches. finally, I'm going to open up this nice arm and I'm going to score it at 6 3/4 inches. So I've got 3 scoring marks here, and the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it toward myself. That is a mountain fold. Now I'm going to go ahead and burnish it really well with the bone folder. Now I'm going to take these 2 outside pieces and bend them in toward my mountain fold that I made. So in other words, it's going to be a W. All right. So it's a mountain, it's a valley, mountain, valley kind of fold. That is our panel that's going to hold all our little images for this super cool twist and pop out card. So here is our W. Is the base of the card that has been cut to be 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to fold it at the score mark, which is 5 1/2. And that is all good and ready to set aside. Next, we're going to work on that pop-out mechanism. Remember, it was scored at 1 1/2 inches, and then the other pieces were created. So I'm going to turn it into kind of like an arrow. I fold it on these 2 folds right there. Remember the X that we made, so it gets folded in, and then same thing with the other side. It's going to get folded in as well, and so that it kind of looks like an arrow. So that's the best way I can think of it. Kind of looks like an arrow. And again, anytime you've got a fun fold card that has a mechanism and it moves a lot, you really want to make sure that the folds are absolutely as tight as you can get them. Super important with this to help really make sure that it works as best as it can. So we want these to be even with each other. And I'm just going to keep on burnishing for a moment. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of tear and tape on this pop-up mechanism before I adhere it to the inside of the card. So I'm looking for the tear and tape here, and I'm putting it only on that triangular piece. It goes up. All right, and now I'm going to do the other side as well. I'm just going to put the tear and tape on there. Okay, that's good. And now one more piece of the tear and tape right up to the center. Okay, take your pick tool. I can easily get this off. And now the other piece of tear and tape. Okay, so I've got that ready to go, and I'm going to adhere it to the inside of the card, and I'm going to nudge my pop-up mechanism and kind of center it into the middle of the card. There. All right, now I'm going to make sure it will shut. It will shut. Good. And I've got that right up to the crease. Can you see how that's right up there? Now I'm going to take this off. There. Now I'm going to simply shut the card onto the mechanism, the pop-up mechanism. I want a really good sturdy tape, a good adhesive that's really going to make it stay. Now look at that, our pop-up mechanism is working. Then, like I said, I've got the image panel here ready to go. So that's the next thing we're going to do, is go ahead and decorate this. I've got 4 panels of some basic white that have been cut to be 1 7/8 by 2 5/8, and then a coordinating cardstock that goes with everything here. It's 2 by 2 3/4. And what I'm going to do is simply stamp this one. I already did with some images from the gallery blooms to help save a little bit of time. I have 3 others all ready to go. So I'm going to simply adhere this to this other panel to mat the image, And now all of these images will go onto these pieces that are the image panel. Putting them on and letting that go on there. All right, that's great. I'm going to adhere some tear and tape to this corner here and this corner down here. You do not want to have anything on the other corners. You could, these are the only two that I'm going to put anything on. So I've got a little bit of the tear and tape here again, and I'm going to put it right here. And then another piece right here. Same thing with it down here. I'm going to put a piece of the tape right here, and then another piece of the tape right there. All right, so there are the pieces of tear and tape on the pop-up mechanism. I'm going to go ahead and burnish them down with my fingers real well. And no one's going to see all those little marks that I have made using the take your pick tool to get the paper backing off. A little bit easier. Okay. Here's the trickiest part of the whole thing. You want to have this piece match up with this. They're the same width, exactly 3 inches. So I'm going to match them up so that they are together, but only that top corner is going to be adhered, remember, because that's the only thing that has the tear and tape on it. Okay, so I'm going to now do the same thing with this piece down here. I'm going to take off the paper backing. And I'm going to make it so that these two 3-inch pieces, they're both 3 inches, are aligned. Okay, it's time for the moment of truth. We're going to give the card a little open and close to make sure that the mechanism with the image panel on it is working. How cool is that? It works! Yay! And so to finish off, I'm just going to create a place to put some writing here to my recipient. I've got a piece of the basic white that's surrounded by some basic black, and it's a great spot to have a little note to somebody right there. And as I said, all the details are listed on my blog of everything, the different cutting pieces. So just going to have this sit right in here centered. And then I think I'd like to have a little more room. So I've got another panel of basic white that I adhered to some basic black to again have a nice contrast and also to give me plenty of room to write to my recipient. Sometimes it's just nice to have some extra notes, and this card is not super fancy as far as what I've got on the inside. It's just some beautiful botanicals, so it's all set to go. All right, now I have a panel of designer series paper. It's time to decorate the front, and I've got a little bit of basic black that's going to go around that. First though, I've got this image from the Gallery Blooms, the little memento ink, and I'm going to stamp this onto the designer series paper. So often we feel like we just need to stamp on cardstock, but stamping on designer series paper is also absolutely gorgeous. Stamping the image down, and now I'm going to put the words from the wonderful thoughts, which are thinking of you. Not really sure why I closed up the ink there, but I've got the thinking of you right there. Nice. Just a little bit of adhesive onto the back then. And matting it with this nice contrast of the basic black. A little bit of adhesive on there as well. Putting it onto the front of the card. just beautiful. Now I'm going to do a little bit of embellishment, and our card is all set to go. So I've got the holographic resin dots here, and I'm going to surround the sentiment with some of them in a triangular, and there we go. So this card is so cool. It's just beautiful. I love how it is just so fun to open, and anyone who gets this is going to say, wow. All right, isn't this a fun card? And once you've made the one, you're going to want to make more. I can guarantee it, because you're going to say, this is so cool. I can't believe I made this. It will take 2 stamps because it's a little bit thicker, but what a showstopper. People are going to absolutely love getting this card from you. I have a couple other variations to share with you. I did a lot fancier. I knew that this would take a while, so I wanted to keep it a little more simple just to share with you. And here's one that I did. It's lots of die cuts, and this is the More Messages stamp set, and I was able to go ahead and do some heat embossing with all of these different things. And then inside, how cool, I've got a space to write right here, thanks a lot, and that is super fun. A little bit of the rhinestones at the bottom of each of these impressions of bloom die cuts. So really fun card here, gorgeous. The textured designer series paper, so there we go. And then I have another one where I just use a lot of ephemera. So I've got some fun green colors, the Good Times Mix and Match ephemera pack here. And inside, lots more fun with the ephemera, plenty of room to write a note. So you can make this as fancy or as just simple as you want. And really a great layout with a super impressive twisting pop-out mechanism. So many different versions of this card. How fun is that? So hey, if you don't already have a demonstrator and you are looking for someone to be your creative cheerleader, I would love to help you out with that. Well, that's it. Can you believe just a few pieces of cardstock, a little bit of scoring and folding can make something that cool and impressive? It's just wow. So if you enjoyed seeing how to make this twist and pop fold up card, then be sure to leave me a comment. I would love to know what stamp sets you're planning on using or did use to make this. Tag me on social media if you make the cards. That's honestly one of my very favorite things. And let me know what you decided to do, because seeing what you have used to create what I'm showing you really inspires me. I love to see your creations. So remember, down in the description is the link to the blog post where you can get your free downloadable PDF of today's project. I've got step-by-step instructions, photos, all the things that you need to help you remember how to do this. Just save it on your computer or print it out if you prefer. That's totally up to you. And remember, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Follow me on social media. All these things make a huge difference to my very small business, and I appreciate any support that you're willing to give me. Thank you. So until next time, hey, keep on crafting, keep on smiling, and remember, you're only one card away from making somebody else's day. I hope you get inky today, and thanks again for being here. Bye.